Welcome back, everyone. Here we are. We're getting ready to upgrade the pond can to the next tier. We're gonna do mushroom brick because it's gonna look awesome. Much better than the weed stems. It does still let you see a little bit between the walls, and the same issue that you have with weed stems. It's hard to like put mounts and small items like lights on the mushroom brick as well. It'll be like kind of clipped into the wall. That's why I'm not a huge fan, although it's like my second favorite material, I guess. So it's like tied with weed stems. Obviously I'm pro ash cement, but some people like the mushroom brick. It does look the cleanest because all the walls have the same pattern, so it's not gonna be like the full-size wall in weed stem here that has like horizontal slats, and then you got vertical and blah blah blah, you know what I mean? So it will look clean. And then the door is the best door. In my previous video I had stated I wish they would have made the acorn door for ash cement too. That seems like it was just like a opportunity that was like totally fumbled. But I mean, here we are, so we're gonna do that. We'll do our double door, upgrade our doors, and at that point in mushroom brick, this base is essentially one giant bunker. It is very hard to it'd be very hard to destroy this base. We're upgrading the floor, obviously. We do the burr floor because it looks awesome, and then you can't see through it, as I was stating. Like, you can see through the walls on the weed stem, which is kind of a buzzkill. It's cool when you're building like a cabin out like on top of like the pond water fountain area, or like the waterfall, you know, like where the beetles are on those stones, like where normally a pond pump would be or whatever. It's like supposed to be like a little waterfall over up there in the upper yard. It looks cool if you do like a little cabin up there, so you can see like the scenery and stuff through the slats and windows. But like when you use weed stems and stuff inside of a can, or like a pot or whatever you do, it just doesn't quite look right because you can see the metallic through the wall. As you can see, you can just see through the ceiling. I can see the foundation through the floor, and it just yeah, no. So we're gonna remedy that and make it look fancy. So fancy. We did fit this out in the first video for thicker walls. We tested the back, so I'm assuming we'll be fine with clearance for the brick walls because they're thicker than the stem walls, which are in turn thicker than the grass walls. And if you've been sub to the channel and been watching the videos, you'll have seen we've mentioned that a couple times. Also, I did want to shout out that somewhere here I got Red Hot Moxie helping me out. She's getting some materials to help do that ash cement build, since I haven't been playing very much, so we gotta get some of that stuff for your next videos. Especially since the next video we're going to be doing is one of the builds on the Molar bottle. I know people are excited. I'll do like one of the mini versions I'll be doing on that. And then I'm going to jump back over here to the can. I was requested to see if I could build something in the can that's like right on the oak tree right here. The one that has the Molar under it, I believe. So if we're going to do that next after the Molar bottle. And then just keep hopping around. If there is somewhere you'd like to see me try to build something, I'll give it my best shot. Drop a place in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. It might be a little ways out, but I'll try to get to everything. Yeah, the brick's gonna look really good. Now you do need to keep in mind the brick is like the grass. the standard brick wall, as you can see, would end here, but you can see without putting something on top of it, it's much taller. It's about half a wall, almost like half a stem wall higher. So when you put, like, if I were to put that wall up there, it would stick out through the can. So we need to use 2 half walls. So as you can see, like if I do this, you see through the floor
Taking a look.
how it's much higher than the ceiling. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Little things like that it's not the biggest deal, but when my base is rated, I don't like to be hopping around looking for things that are damaged. And if you do stuff like that, you can get damage in areas, or if it's on the back, you can't even get to that unless you're in the base. But from the outside, insects can damage it, and then you got damaged areas like in random spots in your base. And the whole idea behind these bases is the only area you would have to repair is your door. It's ease of mind. You're not wasting time with a repair tool. It's just making life way easier. So that's something definitely to keep in mind. I'll have to see how everything clears here. I think we're gonna be okay. We are close. Look at that. I mean, that is right at the end. Now, because the like the acorn door it's wider, because it's obviously made of brick and not stems, it might stick out a little. I mentioned that in the first video. The way I lined this foundation up, the doorway might stick out slightly. Just, and we'll see right now. Which isn't a big deal, because they already they can attack the doorway, so it doesn't hurt if it's slightly further than the opening of the can. You just don't want it like ridiculous. So let's see what we got. It might be, I see how it's barely, and I could tweak that, but when I put the ash cement wall, it doesn't have that brick, and you might be able to flip it around too, because it's gonna be a different size. Whoops. Like the building, like the blueprints, all the walls are different thickness. One of the things I've noticed, like with ash cement for sure, is that so let's see, it's like slightly better. Well, if we put it like that, there's less on the bottom and a little more on the top. If we put it like this, there's almost none on the top and just that one brick. So we're just gonna do that and leave it like that. So what do I need? An acorn top and shell. I'll grab those in a little bit. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see what we got. Yeah, you can't beat the brick, because as you see, like the full wall versus the half wall, it's the same pattern. It keeps it going, so you can't even tell where the half walls are, and it looks way better. Let's see, this is full. Clear some of this stuff out of here. We got inventory space. We'll be able to pick this stuff up soon. Well, we'll do the floor first. And the nice thing is, if your stuff falls down there, we can just hop on down and grab everything. Just like the last base, this kind of has like a little basement. Obviously there's water down there with that one on this can, so you can't just set stuff on the floor, but you can put things in between the foundation here as well, like under the, like on the floating foundation, as long as it's like a short item. And I can tweak the whole base to fit mushroom brick. We would have done that. To get that completely inside, we would have done that in the beginning on the video where I showed how to line up a foundation for this. But we did set it for ash cement. I think we'll be okay. If anything, like I said, to line the door up perfectly is tricky because of the way the can is. To get it, because see, the door's centered. It's like like barely off, but because you'll get the walls that poke through at the top up there, because the can is slightly angled, it makes it kind of tricky trying to get it to fit perfectly. Oh, this is gonna be so much better. Get a real floor in here now. Sure these aren't sticking out. Okay. Here's our magical levitating panels. Gotta love that. Probably gonna get some free bee parts soon. Sounded like there's a bee out there, and it sounds like the wasps are now fighting that bee. They like to kill. If you leave the wasp once you've freed them from the toy bin, if you leave them and don't kill them here, they very rarely will target you unless like they were attacking a mosquito, so they're low to the ground. But yeah, see, so what they're gonna do is probably killing the bee. So they're killing that bee, and the bees always lose. The mosquitoes, like the wasps, kill everything. So sooner or later, you're gonna get free bee parts, and through the course of a day, you'll get like 3 or 4 bees that get killed right there. And when the mosquitoes spawn, if they've landed, they don't get attacked. But when they're flying around periodically, the wasps just pick them right off. I've had them kill them and have them land on the can. They'll land on the water, and you can loot them because they obviously died without drowning. So it's like a free source of materials. You don't have to go over to the picnic table or, you know, yeah, see, they just killed him. Perfect example. So you just come over here and grab stuff. I don't have inventory space for everything, I don't think. Or maybe. But there you have it. So they'll kill whatever flies around here and leave you alone. Or you can kill them, but just the FYI. one of the many perks of this specific can. You get free stuff that you'd normally have to import.
Now stepping on the court. Wolf Spider!
There, let me go empty my inventory really fast. I have too much stuff. We'll go over to the previous can if you're a new sub or just now watching this video for the first time. You can see what we did with the can over here in the lower grasslands, which I'm turning into the lower wastelands. So yeah, it's not too bad. Okay. This can is in such an excellent area. It really is. Just like, honestly, this is my favorite can in the lower yard. Just because the location is like perfect for
Just pretend it's beef jerky.
when you need to get to the you know, lab. Even in New Game Plus, this was the #1 can I would use, especially when you've linked them all to the telepodies, because then, like, the beauty of the cans are they're protected. You have one entry point that you can easily, like, remedy and reinforce, so it's no longer like a weak point. And this one's cool because it's not on ground level, so it can't be raided, only by like enemies that shoot projectiles or explode, and even then it's really hard for them to like actually raid this area. But it's like right next to the pond lab. You can just jump out, go right under the back of the can, and you have one of the entrances right there if you've unlocked it, which to build in here you would have had to have done the pond lab to get the floating foundations. And then on top of that, you're next to the main lab, so in New Game Plus, you know, when you got to keep running and talking to Burgle and everything, you're right here. You have tons of wool spiders right here. You get the infected wool spider here. So it's just like, you get wasps here. I mean, you get like kind of a little bit of everything. There's always ladybugs walking by. There's always aphids. You get sap catchers right here. Like, honestly, you know, there's so many resources right here. And then everything else is just a few feet away. You don't really have to like travel far, which is nice. It's very, very nice. Why is this doing this? Stop being difficult. Come on. Now I am gonna try to put a ceiling, like actual roof panels in here. Just not, I'm gonna do it on the final build. But I went over that in the last video. And it looks like we can fit those in here. So we get rid of the jagged ceiling, which isn't bad. Or maybe I'll do it on one side. I don't know. We'll do something different. Every time I do one of these cans, it's always going to be something different. Just to show all the possibilities. I mean, there's literally unlimited possibilities, even if it is a small space. And we can always like fine tune this stuff later. But I think I'm gonna do that and try putting those in. It was only letting me put the small ones, but I just want to see if I remove a lot of this while I'm trying to finish this, it will, like, I think it'll work. Okay, for these, as I mentioned earlier, use half walls. They can't be attacked anyways, so it doesn't matter. And then you don't have it popping out of the top. And you can't even tell because it's made out of mushroom brick. Everything blends in, which is nice. I honestly think the brick looks way cleaner on the small builds than it does on large builds. Like, yeah, you can do like the whole castle. Like you got the castle style build parts for the mushroom brick, but honestly, it just looks so much better when you're putting it in like a small space. It's crazy how many weed stems are in here in this small room. You wouldn't think that there's that many in here, but as you can see, there are a ton. Come on. No, okay. So many. Some of these might fall through the, oh, yeah, if I could just break them, a lot of them are gonna fall through the can, which is excellent when you're trying to build in the underwater can, and I'll show you guys that. So it's hard to get, and I don't know if this has been covered. I don't really watch like YouTube or anything, as ironic as it is. I just played this game a lot and enjoy pushing the limits in some of the games that I play. And the can that's submerged in front of the undershed, until you get teleporters, is hard to build like the stove or anything that takes weed stems, because it's underwater and you can't carry things. Obviously when you're swimming you drop them, but I figured out how to get them in there without like the teleporter, because otherwise you'd have to build a teleporter. And if there's another way, that's cool. You can let me know in the comments. I haven't seen anything else, but like I said, I haven't really looked. I just, after a little bit of messing around, I figured out a way that's kind of a pain, but it's not, like, it could be worse, I guess. And I think I'm going to show that when I do that can. That's my favorite storehouse can, because it's completely 100% raid proof. It is impossible to get raided unless you leave anything sticking out. It will not be raided. But the downfall of that other can is that they think the Java-matic defenses are part of your base, so the bugs will go raid your Java-matic defenses, which you might not care. Like most of the time I don't care if it's like after I did the Java-matic, but if you're still trying to do the Java-matic, or like say for New Game Plus, like we try to always leave when I'm playing all the defenses, like they'll barely get damaged, because the event isn't like too bad, but we also don't want them damaged more. We want to save as many as we can for the next New Game Plus event. so that it's like less work, you know, less materials, less work. So the downfall is when you're in that can, they think that's part of your base, which gets kind of annoying because they'll destroy it. You know, I'm just gonna break these, and if they fall outside the can, it's fine. We have plenty. And to do the other cans, I can just grab more. It's just so much faster. Come on. It really is a pain working with weed stems and the grass and all the extra stuff you have to carry. Although it's also a pain harvesting spiky burrs. I like that. I don't know if it's just me. I can't stand. It's like my least favorite resource to harvest because you have to spend a bunch of time running after them. I mean, there's a few areas on the map where you can like break them and they'll roll into like a, you know, like a divot in the ground or whatnot. But most of the time you're just chasing after these things. It gets annoying, especially since you need a lot of them. It's a good thing. Red Hot Moxie loves to do that stuff, so big thanks to her for getting all this stuff. I'm just going to put the start of the second floor if you want to put a second floor. We did set this up so you have this nice tucked away ladder here. Like you can move this forward if you don't want to put something in there and just close it off. It definitely looks better like that. I'm just making sure, you know, leaving options. You might have different tastes. These are, you know, just guidelines, so come on. And then you got your, obviously your second floor here. You can do like a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to cover more of that in the next video when we build it out in ash cement, and then I'll probably modify the ceiling. Come on, see, that's not supporting anything, but it thinks it is. I don't know what it's supporting. There really is a lot of room in here. Especially when you have, you know, 8 of these or more linked up with telepodies. You have so much room. A lot more space than you'd have in even some of these like mega base builds. And the difference is like when you're, unless you're playing like creative mode or something, like when you get raided, you don't even have to worry about anything, and they're not going to be raiding your whole base. They're going to be raiding the segment of your base, like where you're at, and then you can easily just go from one base and portal over
I
there.
spy.
The way this is set up, so it is expensive getting all the telepodies, and then we have to phase like in an area like where you can put them, you know, so you have like a designated spot for the telepody in each can, but that's like a small price to pay for how like functional it is. We got a bunch of stems coming out here. Hey, would you mind building me one of those cheap stem pallets really quick when you're by here next?
Yeah.
I every time I do a video, I somehow have more than I thought I started with. I'm not sure. I built like 4 of the large ones. I don't. It's crazy. Cause I don't know how many each one of those holds. It's got to be like 75 or more, I think, for the large ones. So that's already 4 of them, 4 or 5 of them I filled. Oh, looks so much better already. Let's do this. When you're working in your bases, especially lining up chests and stuff, if you care to have them like lined up, I just build a staircase that you can move around. Usually it's this like the half staircase, which is awesome, just because it doesn't take up a lot of space. I can just move it around in here. But if your base is furnished, it's easier just to use the half stair. Come on. Yeah, there's like a whole nother pallet's worth. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah.
They somehow multiply.
Yeah, that's interesting. Come on. This is now, look at this glitch. So this is a perfect example of how this bugs out. I just responded to a comment maybe an hour ago. Somebody was had commented on my last video where, and it's happened a few times this video, where I broke everything but the parts were floating in the air. This is what I meant. Like, this is supported by a full foundation. Everything else, and the walls are obviously all supported, and it says the piece I just put up floating right here is supporting 44 pieces, which is like insanity. And it takes the game a little while to figure that out, or how it even jumped to that conclusion is definitely questionable. But that's another bug to look out for. And it's always the piece that's like placed up on top of everything. So like how that was placed above the floor and the foundation. And it was floating, but it still thinks that that's supporting the majority of this building. Sometimes to remedy that though, if you're doing that and it's not in the middle of a base, so if you haven't, like, for instance, like what just happened is I already have, you know, 80% of the base built. But when you're building a base, say you laid a bunch of blueprints and you have your foundation or whatever you're doing, and it pulls that to the point where it snaps everything to that foundation, like to that piece, where if you broke it and it did break everything, you can remedy that sometimes by obviously like you save and exit, but place another blueprint and don't build it next to it, then break the blueprint that you placed, and then it will clear the, it like reshuffles. See, it's doing it again. Look at, this is supporting 53 pieces, this wood board right here. Look at, oh, there's the whole base. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's obviously confused.
It's obviously confused.
Yeah, so, but you get like the idea. So what you can do is just place a blueprint. I should have used the example right there and shown that, but obviously that was, I didn't think about that. So you can place a blueprint next to it, and then it will clear the nonsense that it has going on, essentially. I'm gonna need more spiky burrs too. Probably like.
Grab a ton.
Oh, cool. Could you just build these then really fast?
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm bringing them now.
I might need some more. Do you have any lamp rope? I'm gonna be short barely from the last base. I haven't
let me
made.
check my base on my way back.
I haven't made anything since because I haven't been playing. Yeah, I'm out here. If you have those burrs though.
Yeah, I have
I have some at my other base I can grab, but I don't think there's a lot of lamp rope because I haven't been playing.
I'll see what I have.
If not, I can
If not,
just
I'll make more.
I can just leave it at that. I mean, I have to build these doorways anyways. The stairs are in the way. Well, we don't need the, well, yeah, we don't need the stairs anymore anyways. It's gonna tell me the stairs are supporting everything next.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a healthy amount of room in here. This is definitely nice. This is Red Hot Moxie's favorite can. I'm gonna give her this one when it's done. When we move on to the other ones, this is by far her favorite can to use. So I'm gonna go get the stuff for these really quick. Actually, I have this stuff in my base.
Ant spotted! I spy.
And we'll move these in case we get raided during the video. I just try to store stuff up. If you put it far enough away from the base, you don't have to worry about them attacking your stuff. I just put it up on one of these, you know, for the next can or whatever. Because harvesting all these weed stems is kind of tedious.
Where do you want them over there? Where you want them?
What'd you say?
Where do you want?
Just build the the stem pallets. Just put it right there and just fill it or whatever. Did you have any lint rope by any chance? Just to I'm like pretty much done. I'm short like 20 or less. I'm gonna go grab the other stuff I need.
Put a ton of guns in the base.
Oh, okay, nice.
Let me see what left. What I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna use those. I'm gonna try to do the ceiling. I think that's gonna be cool because it'd be nice to have it slanted. So yeah, I keep getting the.
I have 32.
Perfect. Yeah, that's more than enough. Just grab those really quick, please.
Okay.
I keep getting the sprint mix of after playing with the awful controls for No Man's Sky. I keep crouching instead of sprinting.
Oh.
So like I've been playing No Man's Sky for like a while now and absolutely love that game. I guess it got a really bad rep when it was launched. I didn't play it when it was launched. I'm like a new player. I've been playing it for like a month or so now and have pretty much beat like the whole thing, and it's awesome. The fact that you can play it forever and still find and see new things, like the replay value is
I wonder
amazing.
if I could keep that aphid as a
The amount of items you can unlock and build for bases and stuff is amazing. Yeah, it's great, but the controls, I play on PC with a keyboard, which I guess would be complicated for some people. But then going from the keyboard to the controller, the people that play that game with a controller, like, you are legendary, because trying to fly a starship with the controller is something else. And I have to have the sensitivity up to 100% on that game. But like, holy moly, like, it's something else. If you play and you know what I'm talking about, if you use a controller, I salute you, you know. It's rough. They should have an achievement end game just for that. What else did it take? The tops, right?
Can you bring
What do you need?
the 3 pine cone pieces?
3?
Because I put them in your base
Oh
already.
yeah, here, that's cool. I already had some over here.
Oh, okay.
Did you get the spiky burst? Or is that built? Did you
Yeah, I
build?
built them.
Oh, cool. So it's done.
Yeah, the door.
crap.
Dang, he got me midair. That spider's a sniper. He caught me right midair. Oh, I can see where you're getting burrs. There's a bunch. There's one on the ground over here. So I'm assuming you left some over here. They always fall over the fence.
Oh, probably. I didn't even
Or
check.
on top.
I didn't even check.
Oh yeah, they're up there. That's why I hate farming those things. It's awful. Perfect example. This video's been full of examples. I like that. Like, yeah, the burrs are terrible. Will you fill that really quick, please?
Yeah.
Let me dial these in. We want them. We're gonna face them the other way. I want, like, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Come on, man. You can do it. So you can see it barely sticks out. And you just leave them like that. And now you legitimately have a bunker. And this little bit, it's still recessed. Like the way it is, it's recessed in the can. Or actually it's fibbing. So it shows that you can see this, but if you look, it doesn't even stick out. Look at that. So I have no idea what's going on. It only shows from the front, and it was doing that with the blueprints. But you can see it physically does not stick out looking up the edge of the can, so I'd still call that a win. But here you go. This is the space you'll have, and this is where the base gets functional. We can fit all kinds of stuff. If you need a dew catcher, you haven't beat the mantis yet, well, you're in luck. It fits with plenty of room. You can put a bunch of them in this can. Before I get the mantis fountain, I usually put 2 at the end here, and I'll put them like so. What you do is you hit them diagonal like that. You'll line it up with this, put it at the end of this center piece of this floor, and then just do the same thing over here. And it doesn't have to be perfect unless you're OCD, which I'm pretty sure I am. But yeah, just do something like this. I gotta tweak it a little more because clearly I didn't put it perfectly center. It needs to be moved, you know, just like barely, like that right there. Then put this over here like that. Something like this. It might take you a couple tries. Trying to use the build controls for No Man's Sky on accident. And then boom, there you go. Then you can build out your your upstairs, if you're gonna do 2 stories, like if you got the weed stems, I'll just build it out like this. And then as you see that clears, and then you can put it so you can drink from them. If you're upstairs or downstairs, you just put this here. And look at that. Holy moly, that is just awesome stuff. See, you could probably even, if you really want to squeeze space, just or not, because is it really not gonna let me put that? No. If you want to squeeze space, you could probably put that right up to it. Look at it kind of goes through, does it? Yeah. So, but there you go, and it's clean. So when you're up here, you got all this floor space, which is exciting. So there you have it. That concludes our mushroom brick build. We can just show you a little bit of space you got in here. Lock this. You know, you can put a mantis. You can put like chests up the wall. The idea is obviously, and you can still get coziness level 5 in here. You can, you know, you build all the statues to get easy coziness. Slap the mold orc thing right here. Boom, you know, and we'll do all that on the final video. The next one we'll slap this into ash cement. It'll be exciting. And I'm gonna change. I think I'm gonna try doing the actual roofing panels in here. So stay tuned for that. Thanks. Big shout out to Red Hot Moxie again for cleaning up the mess that it is created from building these things. So stay tuned. Thanks to everybody that's subscribed and those that continue to subscribe. I appreciate it. Didn't think that many people would want to be watching these videos, and I was wrong. So it's greatly appreciated. Until next time.